This is how to take this little penguin here and make him walk left and right when you press left and right arrow and up arrow and down arrow to go up and down the ladder and across there. So I've got sprite number 1, which is one of the lines, the bottom line, sprite 2, top line, third sprite, no particular order, is the ladder that I've drawn using this paint sprite facility, and then the penguin. I haven't put any code in yet. Before I forget this little point, we'll just get sort of easy bit out of the way. I'm going to add some code here to say when the flag is clicked, i.e. when the game starts, to say go to front for the ladder. This is all in the ladder code. As you can see at the moment, the penguin is in front of the ladder and I'm having him facing forward as he climbs the ladder. I couldn't find a sprite showing the penguin facing backwards, so I thought I'd do it that way around. So now if I click that flag, sure enough the ladder appears to be in front of the penguin. So as he eventually gets to the point of climbing up it, that should help. That's the first little bit out of the way. The next thing I was going to add is, oh yes, on the penguin itself, I've created an advanced, I've taken the standard, it's in the sprite library here, there was a penguin right and left and a penguin front. So created the penguin right from the left or vice versa simply by duplicating. You right click, duplicate there, and this thing here allows you to flip left and right. So we've got 3 costumes, left, front and right, and I'm now going to add the code to make first of all the penguin go left and right when you press the left and right arrow key. So let's do that. So first of all I need to say when the game starts, and then in a forever block because we want to do it continuously, and an if statement, and this if is going to be for if the left arrow is pressed, which is this here. If, to find it here, if key left arrow is pressed, I'm going to change the costume, so that's in the look here, switch costume to penguin left. If I run that, sure enough it did that. I should also have the equivalent for going to the right, so do that. Be careful not to put that inside that if statement, so it should be there. And find sensing again, and this time if key pressed is, as you'd expect, key right arrow, change the costume in the looks to penguin right. Let's check that works. Left right when I'm pressing the key. And the other thing I want to do is to make the penguin actually move along, so we're going to say motion and move the penguin, or change is a good one, change the X rather than the Y. If it's going left, it really wants to be going minus, in a minus direction, say 6, see how that looks, and then in the right it would be +6. Let's try that. Oh, that doesn't look very good. Oh, I did set X to X, that isn't right. I need to change X by an amount. So I'm pressing left and right arrows, so that's good. Might want to move the little penguin down this tiny amount. Okay, that's that bit done. And then next part I want to do is to make it climb the ladder itself. So I could add it to the end of this block here, but just to kind of keep things separate, I thought might add another one of these. So essentially that's the left-right logic, and now this next bit is going to be for the climbing the ladder. So the first thing I want to do, again in a forever loop, is to say if the penguin is touching the ladder, I want to change his costume to facing the front facing one. So I do that by saying sensing, and touching is in here somewhere. So this means if the penguin is touching the ladder, then I'm going to switch costume, to penguin front. So now if I move it to here, sure enough he faces front in preparation for climbing that ladder. Seems to be working. So now I need to add logic a bit like this to say if the up arrow and down arrow is pressed. So let's go for an if statement in there. We'll need another one in a minute. I'll add that one while I'm there. And I need to say sensing if key up arrow, and if key down arrow. And what I want to do there is change the Y position this time, which I do by clicking motion and change Y. If it's up, I want to go in an upward direction, let's say 2, so it goes up the ladder reasonably slowly. And otherwise I want to change the Y by -2 for going down. And let's see if that works. Seems to. But it also seems to do it wherever I am, it will go up and down. I really want it to say if touching the ladder only. So what I've done by mistake, I've added this block here, the one I'm highlighting, should be actually inside that if statement. So the whole thing is, it's only checking for the up and down arrow if it's touching the ladder. So let's try that again. So if I press up arrow, I'm doing now, it's not going up. That's good. It's not going down. Touches the ladder and it goes up. Won't go down when I'm pressing that. It will come down the ladder. So that's actually mostly there. And then I've got one other piece, which is to kind of perhaps tidy it up a little bit. I'll just move that block there. I'm going to add another block of code. Find the, there's the when clicked, and forever. Again, I could have just let this code follow on from here, but again, by way of kind of separating it into the different parts of the program, I kind of think this helps. So I'm going to forever block there, and then an if then again. And in this case, I want to say if it's not touching either of the two lines, then I'm going to make it kind of drop back onto the line, because at the moment it's allowed to sort of float in the air. So to do that, I need to first of all say I need something which is actually I'm going to be checking for two things. So I'm going to have an AND block that allows me to drop two different things into there and there. And in this case, I'm going to say if not touching either of the lines, it's not touching that line and it's not touching that line, then I'm going to say move the Y position down by -1. In other words, until it does drop to the line immediately below it. So to do that, I've got to do sensing and look for touching, and it's going to be line 1, and touching, if not touching line 2, then I'm going to change the Y position. Oops, not change Y position by -1. Let's try that. Oh yeah, sure enough it did that straight away. So I go up the ladder, goes slightly too high across, and it sort of drops down quite nicely to that. If I move him up like that, it'll float back down to there. That's what this piece of code here is handling for me, which is rather nice. So that's pretty much it really, except for some reason that ladder there should be at the front, and I missed it. Oh, there, that's better. So as it should be. I didn't click the arrow to start the game. And just to show finally, actually this is in 3 blocks, but as I mentioned, it could all be one after the other with under just one heading of when the flag clicked. I can move that under there. Oops. Under there. Sort of good. Oh no, of course. It doesn't need the forever block. That goes inside there. Get rid of that. And that goes inside there. And get rid of that. And get rid of that. So that's all inside that forever block. We have the top bit here is, oops, this area I'm sort of circling here is the left arrow, right arrow part. This was the if touching the ladder part, and then switch costume, and then if pressing up and down, go up by 2 and down by 2, and then that's the ladder climbing. And this last little part was that last part I added, which is checking if it's touching one of the lines, and if so, float down by -1. Having said all that, let's just check it really does still work. Start it. Up the ladder he goes. Let's just get off the ladder there and see if it climbs down, which it doesn't. So, oh no, because he's already touching something red, so that wasn't very good. So that's something else that perhaps I need to think about and handle, but that's the basics of this ladder climbing idea.